Well, with the drowning, because we live in the desert, it's probably going to be limited to private pools or public pools, which are pretty much in every community, or apartment pools. And I'm probably the only attorney that's had one in the southern half of the state because fortunately they're not very common. The case that I had involved a young boy that drowned in an apartment pool. It was actually the spa, the sauna pool that was connected to the pool itself. And in that instance, the little boy could not be seen because the water was so murky. Their filtering system was horrible, and it had been ongoing for a period of time. And mom couldn't find son and looked everywhere, including the spa pool. And unbeknownst to her, the whole time he was at the bottom, and he was a young boy, 4-year-old boy, and he drowned. Usually, children that are about to drown, you would think they would come to the service and fight, but he never did. Is for whatever reason, no head injuries, no physical injuries. He just stayed at the bottom, and nobody knew he was even there, and he drowned. So usually it's going to be that type of case where an attorney might get involved, or your kids go over to the neighbor's house and the neighbor's not paying attention, or maybe the neighbor's dog pushes you into the pool, or there's no fence around the pool, and there's an accident like that. Yes, because the typical wrongful death act case is going to involve a tragic accident like a car accident or maybe a shooting. But as opposed to drowning, if it's a public pool, there are certain OSHA requirements, Occupational Health and Safety Administration requirements that have to be kept. They're easy to doctor. And so when somebody gets caught with their tail between their legs and they realize they're about to get sued because they haven't properly maintained their pool, it's very simple to recreate those records, unfortunately. And if you know what's required of them, then you know what to look for. So, for example, the drowning case that I had, I listened to the 911 calls, of course, and what stood out in my mind was nobody knew the address of the pool complex. And so the 911 person said, "What's your address? What's your address?" And this little boy is drowning or has been found now at the bottom of the spa. And "What's your address? What's your address?" And nobody could say what the address was. And I thought, that doesn't seem right. It seems like your address has to be posted for emergency purposes, and theirs was not. And lo and behold, I looked further into, and this is at the beginning of the case, I looked into the OSHA requirements. An apartment complex, any public complex, is required to have their address shown prominently for that very purpose, and this place did not. And they didn't even know it was required of them. But there's a lot of regulations that are required to be followed. Checking the water levels, making sure that things are not so cloudy that you can't see beyond 3 or 4 inches. I mean, it's just this complex was in violation of so many different rules. Even rules that they had established for themselves, they violated. And so it was one of the largest settlements that in any drowning case in New Mexico that we had. And it settled about a week before trial. I guess they had decided that, they had too much to risk by going forward. I mean, 4-year-old boy drowned, and the mother did everything she could. And of course, their argument was, well, you're the mother. Why weren't you watching your child? Well, no mother can watch the child 100% of the time, all the time. I mean, there's going to be seconds where you're looking away, talking to a friend, then you look back. And their arguments, I thought, were very overreaching and almost got to the point of disrespectful. And we were able to show she did everything she was supposed to do. We had a timeline that I put together with the facts of the case that showed she was nothing but 100% responsible for her child. This was just something that, had the water been clear, the other people in the spa, which were there at the same time the little boy went under, would have seen. They would have picked him up, but they couldn't see. I mean, the water was that murky. It was a crazy case, very unfortunate case.